Welcome to Small Stories, Big Healing, where old teachings speak softly into modern lives.
When you promise yourself you will change, but the next morning looks exactly like the last, what do you do? When you feel motivated for a day, then lose the strength on the second day, what does that mean about you? Have you ever wondered why your dreams feel so bright in your mind, yet so heavy in your hands? Tonight, let me tell you a short story, one that may change the way you see your daily life. Once upon a time, in a quiet town beside a long, winding river, there lived a young man named Haru. Haru was kind. Haru was intelligent. Haru was full of plans. But Haru had one secret that made him feel ashamed. His life was always almost disciplined, almost confident, almost successful, almost peaceful. He would begin with fire in his chest. Tomorrow I will wake up early. Tomorrow I will stop wasting time. Tomorrow I will take care of myself. But tomorrow would arrive and Haru would do what he always did. He would reach for his phone. He would sit just for a moment. He would say, "I'll start after breakfast." Then, "I'll start after lunch." Then, "I'll start next week." And at night, when the room became quiet, Haru's mind became loud. He would whisper to himself, "What is wrong with me?" One evening, after another day slipped through his fingers like sand, Haru walked along the river to cool his restless heart. The water moved calmly, as if it had all the time in the world. As he walked, he noticed an old woman near the riverbank. She wore simple clothes and sat on a low wooden stool. Beside her were many small stones and a single bamboo tube. From the bamboo tube, water dripped, slowly, patiently, onto a stone beneath it. Drip, drip, drip. Haru frowned. He watched for a while, confused. The old woman looked up and smiled, as if she had been expecting him. "Good evening," she said warmly. "You look like someone carrying a heavy basket." Haru gave a tired laugh. "It feels that way." The woman nodded. "Sit for a moment. The river is a good listener." Haru sat on a nearby rock. For a while, neither of them spoke. Only the river spoke, softly, steadily. At last, Haru sighed. "I don't understand myself. I want to change. I truly do, but I keep failing." The old woman didn't look surprised. Instead, she asked gently, "When you say you want to change, what is it that you try to do?" Haru looked down. "Everything. I try to fix everything at once." "Ah," she said, as if he had just described the weather. "Everything at once." Haru's cheeks grew warm. "I know it sounds foolish." "It is not foolish," she replied. "It is human." Then she pointed to the bamboo tube. "Tell me, Haru, what do you think I am doing here?" Haru watched the steady drip of water. "I'm not sure," he admitted. "It looks like you're wasting time." The old woman chuckled softly. "Yes, many people would say that." She tapped the stone where the water was falling. "Look closer." Haru leaned forward. At first, he saw nothing unusual, but then he noticed something small, something that made his eyes widen. On the surface of the stone, there was a shallow dent, a tiny hollow, smooth around the edges. He blinked. "The water did that?" The old woman nodded. "Not in a day, not in a week, but yes." Haru stared at the stone as if it were a miracle. "But water is soft," he said, and stone is hard. The old woman's gaze turned kind and steady. And yet, she said, here is the truth the river teaches us. Softness becomes strength when it is consistent. Haru swallowed. The old woman continued. Most people believe power looks like a loud storm, but real power often looks like a quiet drip. Haru's voice became smaller. Then, why do I keep failing? She asked, when you fail, what do you say to yourself? Haru hesitated, then confessed, I say, I have no discipline. I say I'm not the kind of person who can change. The old woman's smile faded, not into anger, but into seriousness. Then you are building the wrong house, she said. Haru frowned. Wrong house? She picked up a small stone and placed it in Haru's palm. Hold this, she said. He did. Now, she said, imagine this stone is your life. Your habits are not the stone itself. Your habits are the marks carved into it. Haru looked down at the stone. The old woman pointed to the bamboo tube again. This water does not argue with the stone, she said. It does not shout, change. It does not curse the stone for being hard. It simply returns, again and again. Haru listened closely, as though her words were a lantern in a dark room. She leaned forward. Your problem is not that you are weak. Your problem is that you are trying to become a storm when you have not learned to become a drip. Haru breathed in slowly. A drip? He repeated. The old woman nodded. Tell me, Haru, what habit do you want most? Haru answered quickly, like someone who had been hungry for this question. I want to wake up early. I want to be focused. I want to stop procrastinating. The old woman raised a finger. Choose one. Haru blinked. Only one? Yes, she said. A river does not carve a valley by attacking every mountain at the same time. Haru looked embarrassed. Then, waking up early. Good, she said. Now tell me, what time do you wake up now? About 9? And what time do you wish to wake up? 5. The old woman's eyes softened. And you wonder why your mind rebels, she said gently. You are trying to move the sun with your hands. Haru let out a long breath. Then what should I do? The old woman smiled again, and her voice became as calm as the river. You will wake up at 8:59 tomorrow. Haru stared. 8:59? Yes, she said, as if it were the most important instruction in the world. 1 minute earlier. Haru almost laughed. That's nothing. The old woman nodded. Exactly. It is small enough that your lazy self cannot fear it, and it is real enough that your future self can trust it. Haru shook his head. But how will 1 minute change my life? The old woman lifted the bamboo tube slightly, letting Haru see the slow falling drops. How does one drop carve stone? She asked. Haru didn't answer. She continued, most people do not fail because they aim too low. They fail because they aim too high and aim only once. Haru looked away, feeling something sting behind his eyes. The old woman's voice softened further. Listen carefully, she said. A habit is not built by intensity. A habit is built by identity. Identity? Haru asked. She nodded. When you wake up 1 minute earlier, you are not chasing 5 o'clock. You are becoming a person who keeps promises. Haru's throat tightened. She placed her hand over her heart. And when you become that person, she said, your life begins to trust you. They sat in silence again. Drip, drip, drip. Finally, Haru asked, "What if I miss a day?" The old woman replied, "Then return the next day." Haru frowned. "That's it?" "That is it," she said. "The water does not apologize to the stone. It does not give up. It returns." Haru looked at the river and felt something inside him settle, like muddy water becoming clear. The old woman stood slowly. "Come back in 30 days, she said. "Bring me the stone of your life. We will see what your small drops have carved." Haru went home that night with a strange feeling, not excitement, not pressure, but something gentler, something steadier. The next morning, his alarm rang. He wanted to hit snooze. Of course he did. But then he remembered the bamboo tube. He remembered the stone, and he thought, "I am not trying to be perfect. I am trying to be consistent." He sat up 1 minute earlier. The next day, he did it again. 1 minute. Some days he forgot. Some days he failed. But he returned. He stopped speaking to himself like an enemy. He started speaking like a builder. After a week, he began to notice something small. His mornings felt less rushed. His mind felt less tangled. Not because his life had changed, but because he was changing. After 2 weeks, he added another drop. He put his phone across the room at night. After 3 weeks, he added another. He wrote down one task before sleeping. Small drops, quiet drops, but they returned again and again. On the 30th day, Haru walked back to the river. The old woman was there, just as before. Drip, drip, drip. Haru bowed slightly. "I came back." The old woman smiled. "And did you bring your stone?" Haru nodded. He held out a small stone, smooth on one side, with a faint hollow beginning to form. The old woman examined it carefully. Then she looked into Haru's eyes and said, "Do you see it?" Haru swallowed and whispered, "Yes." It wasn't a deep hole, it wasn't dramatic, but it was real. And for the first time, Haru understood something he had never understood before. A good life is not built in one brave day. It is built in many faithful days. The old woman returned the stone to him. "Remember," she said, "your habits are the river you live in. If you choose the river wisely, you will arrive somewhere beautiful." Haru nodded, and a quiet strength filled his chest. Not the strength of a storm, the strength of water. And here is the lesson I wanted to teach. Your life becomes the shape of what you repeat. Not what you intend, not what you promise. If you repeat delay, your days become heavy. If you repeat small courage, your days become light. If you repeat tiny discipline, your future becomes steady. So if you feel stuck, don't ask, "How do I change everything?" Ask instead, "What is one small drop I can return to every day? 1 minute earlier, 1 page read, 1 glass of water, 1 kind word, 1 task begun." Because when your habits become gentle and consistent, your life becomes gentle and strong. If you are listening right now and thinking, "I have tried before and I failed," remember Haru. The water did not carve the stone because it was powerful. It carved the stone because it returned. You can return too. Not to perfection, to practice. Not to a grand new identity overnight, to a small promise kept today. And if you start with one drop, your life will begin to trust you again. If you learned something today, or if Haru's journey brought you even a small sense of calm, I invite you to stay connected with us. This is Small Stories, Big Healing. Short tales to soothe your heart and guide your steps. If this story should reach more people who are struggling with building better habits, please don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need this reminder, and comment below, what does mastering your habits mean to you? Your one comment may encourage someone else who feels stuck tonight. And if you'd like more stories that bring gentle comfort and insight, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next healing tale. Until then, be like water, soft, steady, and faithful to the path you choose. Small Stories, Big Healing will be here with another tale whenever your heart needs a gentle reminder.